Good morning, guys. My name is Tatiana and you're watching YouTube channel You Can. It's a beautiful morning here in central Pennsylvania and we just wanted to do a little walkthrough of our garden. So here we have a flower bed that we had started 3 years ago, and the cool thing about it is a lot of the plants growing here are from last year. These snapdragons are from last year. They overwintered and look how gorgeous they are. They've grown probably quadrupled in size, and they just look amazing. Look at this lavender. It's French lavender and it's grown so well since last year. It actually grew through the winter little by little. I didn't know that lavender was so cold hardy, but apparently it is. But I'm excited to see all this blooming purple. So we have a little Japanese maple here, and this is Creeping Jenny. This is also a hardy plant. It's very drought tolerant, also very cold tolerant. It's been growing here since last year. You can, if you pull out a clump of this and toss it somewhere and it dries out completely, and then you throw it into a pot with soil and some water, it will come back. It's very, very resilient. Here we have Salvias, and over there as well. Those are also from last year. I was surprised to see that they survived and came back in this early spring. This over here is lamb's ear, also a medicinal plant, but it looks beautiful. It has soft furry leaves and has a silvery green tint to it. Over here is a dahlia, and this came up from last year as well. The benefits of not cleaning up your garden beds and your flower beds in the winter, a lot of the stuff actually overwinters and comes back, and it's so much more hardy and full and robust than if you would buy like the Salvias, for example, at the greenhouse right now. So I have Sweet Williams here. My goal is to make this flower bed more of a biennial flower bed, meaning plants coming up every year. So I'm on the path to that, but I still have some annuals in here. This is a ranunculus. It's a beautiful rose-like flower. This one also came back from last year. I was really pleased that it did, because supposedly these plants aren't hardy in zone 6B. That's where we are. And the pond, guys. What a headache. I don't advise anyone, if you have a lot of time on your hands, do something else. Ponds are so much damn work. It's ridiculous. This pond obviously does not have clear water for a lot of reasons. We've tried using a filter, but I don't know if we need a bigger filter or a different filter material, but it doesn't seem to be able to clean this up, but it did kill one of our fish. We have plants here that are supposed to be taking care of this greenery, but they're apparently not doing the job. But it's a great place to come and see the fish when they're up closer to the surface, and we have like 4 frogs in here. I don't know where the frogs came from, but I just don't have the heart to get rid of the fish and the frogs, so that's why the pond is still here. But I'll tell you, not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. And we have lilies over there. Those have been in for 3 years and they've been growing and spreading. So this fall I will be separating them and planting them in longer rows. But those are oriental lilies, and hopefully we can do a video when they're in full bloom, because they're absolutely gorgeous. Here is eucalyptus, and this overwintered as well. Another good reason why you don't want to clean up your beds in the winter, like by pulling everything out. This overwintered and it actually sprouted back. You can see all this new sprouts. It smells amazing. It looks a little bit scraggly, but I want to see what happens with it later on in the season, whether it's going to really bush out or not, but we'll see about that. So we have another flower bed here and hanging baskets on the fence. All right, this is our garlic patch here, and as you can see, some of the garlic is very big, and then we have smaller over there and way smaller on the other side. But the reason for the size difference is this garlic, last year when we pulled the garlic head was left in the soil. It didn't come out and we just left it there. So that's why this garlic is so big. And then the smaller garlics, some of them we planted from the tiny garlic seed bulbs, and some of them from garlic teeth. Right here we have our cabbage patch. This is not the only cabbage patch, but one of the few. This is flat head cabbage, which is your generic standard variety of cabbage. But over here I have a Calibos cabbage, an heirloom variety. First year that we're trying it, it looks a little bit rough here. There's a better specimen over there. So this is the same Calibos. And this is some kind of Chinese cabbage slash lettuce variety. I'm not too impressed with it. Probably won't be planting it next year, but yeah. So some more garlic here, and on the other side we have butter crunch lettuce and endive. Haven't picked endive, but it looks amazing. Probably going to make something out of it today. So lettuce and onions. This is oak leaf lettuce. Looks absolutely gorgeous. So this is one of our largest raised garden beds, and we have a variety of things in here. We have tomatoes. These are called Black Beauty heirloom tomatoes. Then we have kale over on the other side, and some kohlrabi, some more tomatoes. We have Calibos cabbage over here on this side, and it looks, this one looks amazing. We planted it a little earlier than in the previous bed. Then we have some spinach over on the side, and that spinach I planted in January of this year, and it grew through the winter because we had spells of very warm days. And now it's going to seed, and we want to let it go to seed and see whether or not the spinach will reseed itself. And then we have some peas. And the plant that you see right here, this guy right here, this is technically a weed, but it's a medicinal herb. It's called knotweed. It's used to treat different urinary tract problems. So I am not taking it out. I like to have a good supply of different herbs in my apothecary. So I am leaving this, and I will collect it when it's ready to be collected. Okay, and you see here we have spinach that just went bonkers. Also, this one was planted like in February, and we've been picking spinach leaves since beginning of March, but it's also going to seed, and we shall see what happens with it later on in the season. Just look at this gorgeous flower. This is a sweet shelling pea. Isn't that color just absolutely amazing? We have some more peas here, slightly different variety than in the previous row. And our parsley, and it's going kind of wild too. It's starting to flower, which I'm going to be pulling it all out pretty soon here and planting some more. And this bed has garlic and cabbage, and the radishes over there that you see, that's a disaster. I don't know what variety we planted. I don't remember. It was some seeds that we had left over from last year. Not sure whether it's because they were last year's seeds, but they all bolted, so I'm just going to be ripping all that out. And this is our zucchini patch, a little bit of a zucchini disaster. So we planted the seeds, waited a couple weeks, nothing came up. We planted some more seeds in the same spots, waited a few weeks, nothing came up, planted some more seeds again, and here they all decided to come up. So we've transplanted quite a few plants from here already, and we need to transplant some more because you technically want to leave only 1, 2 at the most plants per space, because zucchini plants get huge. This is our grapevine. We have a few planted along the fence row. Then we have Josta berries, which is a black currant variety. And then we have some Japanese cherries, 2 bushes right there by the fence. And I'm excited about these guys. This is artichoke. We've never grown artichoke before. Started these in the greenhouse, and they look extremely amazing. I'm excited to see what they're going to do and how the actual artichoke fruit looks like later on in the season. This is lovely oregano, and this bush has been growing here for this is the 3rd year now, and as you can see, it's pretty tall, and the smell is amazing. Later on in the season when it blooms, it's going to have like a gazillion insects, beneficial insects on it. So oregano is a great plant to plant in your garden to attract good beneficial insects like the little carpenter bees and bumblebees and various other pollinators. We have honeyberry over to the other side of the oregano, and right behind it is mountain mint. It's actually a native to Pennsylvania. It is from the mint family, but it grows quite differently than other mints, peppermints do. But the taste is absolutely amazing. If you get a chance to get yourself a plant of mountain mint, I would highly, highly recommend it, because the mountain mint tea is just superior to any other kind of mints or spearmints. This is peppermint, and I've been chopping away at it. One thing to keep in mind when you plant peppermint is it does take over. So if you don't keep hacking away at the roots and keeping it in the size that you want it to be, it can take over an entire bed before you can blink an eye. A little plant of fennel here. We used to have a humongous fennel plant growing in one of our raised beds, and we discovered that it's a wonderful home for ladybugs, and ladybugs are a wonderful insect to have in your garden because they feed on aphids. So fennel here, and then lavender. I have 2 different kinds of lavenders. This is French lavender, this is English lavender, and these plants got a little bit frosted out last winter, and that's why they're a little bit clumpy like this, and the part of it that died is coming back slowly, but it's not as full looking as some of my other lavender is. This is a Stevia plant, and you can see the cute little ladybug probably taking a nap. This is a Nasturtium plant, and we use this for canning. It adds a wonderful flavor to pickles, like dill pickles, but it's also a beautiful, beautiful plant. There's one little flower here that's opened already. And I have a helichrysum plant here and a wormwood plant. We have another grape plant, and it looks like we're gonna have grapes on it this year. Really excited about that. This is an unfinished fence gate. We're working on making a gate through here, so that's work in progress there. And we have some wonderberries here. They're from the nightshade family. They have tiny little black berries. Pretty tasty. Not my favorite, but my son and my husband love them, so that's why we grow them. Some marigolds, some cucumbers, and this plant right here, a very interesting plant. It looks like a fern a little bit. The taste is something like eating the rind of a black walnut with a hint of cucumber. Not very tasty, but we were told that it tastes like a cucumber, so we planted a lot of it, and now I'm in the process of pulling it out of this bed because the taste isn't exactly what I was looking for, but I'm sure it has some medicinal purposes, and we're not going to throw it out. We'll just plant it into our flower beds. We have some garden sorrel here. This stuff is very high in vitamin C, and needless to say, it has a very sour taste, but it tastes absolutely amazing in soups or eaten fresh. And then we have some wild sorrel in the garden, which will be coming out soon, but just for comparison, so you can see the difference between the leaves. Wild sorrel. So tomatoes, peppers, sweet peppers, and over on the side there we have an ever-bearing strawberry. The strawberry flowers are gorgeous. They're pink. I've never seen pink strawberry flowers, but they're supposed to bear all year long up until August or so. This is our eggplant patch, and we have some basil growing in between the eggplants. And as you can see, there's some mites that are starting to chew on the eggplant. That's what is a little hard about eggplant, is these little black whatever bugs love it, and they will eat the heck out of the leaves. So we will be putting either diatomaceous earth on these eggplants or pyrethrin, which is a super extract of an African daisy. So we took care of those bugs last year that way, and it really worked good. This bed right here, we have a combination of stuff. First of all, there's a lot of different weeds technically. This is Bloodroot, an edible plant. It's called Bloodroot because the root is pink like that. But this stuff is really good in soups. Like the way I would pick it is pick it up, pluck it off like that, wash it really well, and then chop it up and put it in soups or stir fries. Also, I put it in my pickling, in my canning. And then we have Goosefoot here, also another weed, but it's also an edible herb, an edible weed actually. Also stir fries, soups. I don't put it in pickling though. But this soil that we have in this bed had been laying on a pile for 2 years, and the seeds got a chance to get in and start growing and reseed. So I'm going to be weeding this bed later on, but also saving these for use. We have radishes right here, beets, and spinach. So this is our little attempt at a permaculture orchard. We have fruit trees. This is a persimmon, and we have an apricot and a peach tree in this row. And in between we have oregano over by the Aronia bush. And we have a fennel plant and melons, a few melon plants. So this is a trial. We've put down cardboard and put wood chips, and hopefully all these plants that we've planted, we have some rhubarb here and black fennel and some more fennel. Hopefully they can create an environment where beneficial insects will find a home, that way decreasing the amount of predatory or bad harmful insects from attacking our fruits when we have fruits on these trees. We have a strawberry patch here. It's just one row of strawberries, and we're going to propagate them from the vines that they send out this year, but for now it's just one row. We have some Aronia over on the end there, and a peach tree, some fennel and rhubarb, and a plum tree that we just planted a few days ago. This cherry tree has been growing here since last year, and it has some cherries on it, and I'm excited about them getting ripe. Here are the cherries. Aren't they gorgeous? I'm just in love with gardening. It's such an amazing thing to do. Such a de-stressor, so rewarding, and doesn't take up that much time. It's not like carpentry work where you have to be present for every single nanosecond of the process. You plant a tree, you plant an herb, and you just leave it be. It grows on its own. It's just amazing. Love it. We have some blueberry bushes right here, and as you can see, there's blueberries. I am so excited to have our own blueberries. Obviously this is not going to be enough for preserving in the winter, but it's a start. Someone recently told me that blueberry bushes can grow for like 25 years, so hopefully we can keep these going for 25 years. This is our quince. We just planted it 4 or 5 days ago, so it looks a little bit rough. Hopefully the root system can establish, and it's going to look a lot better by the end of the season. So we have a few varieties of Aronia. This variety is called Rain Tree Select Aronia, considered to be one of the most tasty Aronias there is. The plant is supposed to grow probably twice the height. We have another variety, it's called Viking, right over here. This has been growing for 3 years, so it's a well-established plant, and you can see a lot of berries on it. Now the thing about Aronia is the berries are edible, they are tart, but this berry is packed with antioxidants, and if you mix it with a good portion of honey, it actually tastes really good. But the foliage in the fall is absolutely amazing. It's red, the leaves get red, like a fiery red, and the berries are a dark purple to black color. So it's an eye catcher in landscape. If you're looking for landscaping eye catchers, this is something that you might want to consider planting. And look at this Aronia, also Viking Aronia, but this bush is absolutely loaded with berries. Chickens are a great addition to your gardening feat because aside from picking bugs and they eat a lot of harmful insects, including ticks. They also provide nitrogen-rich manure for your plants that need nitrogen, like leafy greens. And the rooster sings absolutely beautifully too. I don't know, if you don't like how roosters sing, then it's not beautiful, but I think it's beautiful. So we have an apple tree here and an apple tree there, and we're getting apples on this one this year. We've planted this tree last year, so super pumped about these apples. We've also discovered there's a thing called fruit sacks. Basically, it's a nylon sack that you put on the fruit and tie really tight around the stem so insects don't get onto your apple and chew holes through it and plant worms in there. So that's what we're going to do with this apple tree this year and hopefully get some great apples. This is a horehound plant. It's a medicinal herb. It's really good as a nerve tonic, but we like to plant trees and herbs together. That way we are attracting good beneficial insects, creating a microenvironment for the tree to thrive in. It has flowers. We just planted it this spring. That's exciting. This is a Cascade Delight raspberry. So we've never had this variety before. Super pumped about it. And we have stinging nettle over here. Stinging nettle also has a lot of medicinal properties. We use it in food. You can dry it and make like an herbal seasoning with it, or put it into your stews and soups. But if you don't know anything about stinging nettle's name is very accurate. It will sting you if you touch it with your bare hands. Now, if it goes through any thermal processing, it won't sting you anymore. So you won't be stinging your mouth if you eat it once it's cooked. So this is a pawpaw tree. Pawpaws are native to Pennsylvania and I'm sure to other places as well. But the fruit, if you've ever tasted custard apple, it tastes very similar to custard apple, and custard apple is a tropical fruit. But these pawpaws are a little slow at growing. We've planted them 2 years ago, and it looks like this year is going to be when they grow the most, because the growth here is bigger than what it had any other time, any other year. So this part of our yard is the most unkept, I guess. We have a raised bed here. We have horseradish, onions, and radishes in it. And then over there you see the enormous leaves. That's burdock. Burdock is also a medicinal plant. You can use the roots for food, which is why it's still growing there, because I'm going to be digging it up and using the roots for making a dressing. They're really good. These are hazelnuts. We just planted them also a couple days ago, so they look a little bit rough. The leaves are a little yellow. That's because they've been in pots, and they will establish the root system this year, and hopefully we're going to have some hazelnuts in a couple years. So we have some seaberry here, 4 plants, and if you want to plant seaberry, you have to have a male and a female species. So we have 3 female plants and 1 male. There are... Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit a like and subscribe to our channel.